All right, today I'm going to go over Firestarter 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So you're going to get a bunch of work today. Now, right away, I already know that this is going to be a hypotenuse leg, right, because it tells me that. If I didn't know that, as soon as I see that 90-degree angle, I have a good feeling that it's going to be why it's hypotenuse leg. Now, remember, having the 90-degree angle is not something that is always going to guarantee hypotenuse leg, but it's a lot of times it will help. So remember, to get my free point, I start off with statements and reasons. So there's my free point. All right, make sure I start off my two-column proof the correct way. And now I'm going to look at the given. So remember, given information, super important. All right, this is given. So I'm going to start with that. AB is congruent to DE. And CE is congruent to CB. Both of those are given. And actually, this is given too because it's on the figure. So I do get to say that the measure of both angles are 90 degrees. So this is given. So I'm going to say that, remember, there's two ways to do it. You could say, and what I'm going to do real quick is, this is probably confusing you because those triangles are together. So what I would have done, and I think it's a really good way to do it, is I would have split these triangles. So I think it's the easiest way to do that, to think of them as two separate triangles because they're touching each other. So I'm going to say this right here is given and this right here is given because the box means 90-degree angles. So there's two ways to write it. You can say angle ACB and angle ECD are right angles. That's one way. That's given. Or if you don't want to write it that one, you could also say the exact same thing. You could say angle, you could say the measurement of angle ACB. Because I use little m, I put equal. Measurement of angle ECD equals 90 degrees, which is also given. So you only need one of those statements, all right? And like, look, on here, AB, DE, so I know this guy, DE, and I know CE and CB. So it's 1 dash and 1 dash. Now, what I'm going to go through next, I'm going to say, is this a hypotenuse statement, a leg statement, or neither? So remember, this is a hypotenuse statement because it's talking about the longest leg of the triangle. The longest leg of the triangle is always a hypotenuse. And it's always right across from 90. So you can find 90, you can find hypotenuse. CE, CB, that's a leg statement. So to prove hypotenuse leg, you need to have a hypotenuse statement, a leg statement, and you have to have a 90-degree angle statement. That's your 90-degree angle statement. So with just the given information, we have everything we need to do to be able to say hypotenuse leg is a reason for it to be true. So now we're going to say the triangles are congruent. So I get to say triangle. I'm going to go ACB, so ACB. So I went on the corner of 1 dash, and remember it's congruent. And it's going to be, I went on the corner of 1 dash, or 2 dashes and no dashes. So this is 2 dashes and no dashes. So when I start, it has to be triangle D. Then I went to the 90. Well, then I went to the 90, so that's why it's C in the middle. And then I went to the last one, E. So I have triangle ACB is congruent to triangle DCE, and the reason for that is hypotenuse leg. Now remember, that means anything else can be congruent. So I can say this side is congruent to this side. That's a CPCTC statement. I could say this angle is congruent to this angle. And I could say this angle is congruent to this angle. Now I'm going to look here and it says, look, prove this. Remember, we should always end with whatever they're trying to prove. Let's see, CAB, that's this guy right here. CDE, this guy right there, they are congruent, and the reason for that was CPTCC. All right. So just for the clear things up, everything will always start with a given. we want to make sure we have the right statements. That's why I did this purple writing with the hypotenuse leg and the 90-degree statement. And then I'm always going to end with CPCTC. Firestarter 21. I did not tell you what type of proof it is, so remember you could be using any of the 5 options. So if you're not sure, it's going to be one of these 5 choices here. So it's either got to be this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, right? One of these. Now, as soon as I see the 90-degree angle, it makes me think that this is going to be a hypotenuse leg. Now, I'm not guaranteed to be a hypotenuse leg, but it makes me think it is. Now, before anything, I'm going to start with statements and reasons because I want to get my free point. And then I always write down the given. So this is given. This is given. So I'm going to say AB is congruent to CB. Now it's already on the picture. See, it's already there. But if it wasn't there, I would have added it. So like I could have erased the AB congruent to CB part, and as long as those lines were on the figure when you started, it counts. Or I could have not had the lines on there, and then you would have added them yourself. But that's like, they basically gave you 2 different types of given at the same, 2 different ways to say given. Now this other part, this is how I like to write. That's how I usually write our 90-degree statement. So I say the measurement of angle ADB is congruent to angle, or not congruent, I don't know what I said. You cannot say congruent, it's got to be equal. The measurement of angle CDB equals 90. Now remember, the reason we use the little m and equal sign is because we're using a number. And if you don't want to write that, you could always say that angle ADB and angle CDB are right angles, all right? So remember, this is the hypotenuse because it's the longest leg of a triangle. It's right across from 90. So this is, and I forgot my bar over there. It's a big no-no. That's an hypotenuse statement. Now, this is a 90-degree statement. So in order to use hypotenuse leg, all I need left is a leg statement. So I got to be able to somehow figure out a leg statement. All right. Now there's no more given information. So remember, the only thing I could really see is I could say, look at it. Look, that side right there, DB, is a part of both triangles. I get to say DB is congruent to BD. And the reason for that is, remember, one of the only properties that we can just look at it with is reflexive property. And that's my leg statement. So now I have a hypotenuse, check. I have a leg, check. And I have the 90-degree, check. That means I can say the triangles are congruent. So I can say triangle. I'm going to go A first, then D. I should have wrote that differently. A, D, B is congruent. So I went A first, so that's the corner of 1 dash and no dash. So that's why I'm going to use C over here. So I say triangle C. Then I went down to D because it's 90. And then B. And the reason is going to be HL. Now, once that happens, I get to fill in the rest of my triangle. So I can say that this angle right here is congruent to this angle. I can say this angle right here is congruent to this angle right here. I can also say this side right here is congruent to this side right here. And remember, this side was actually done from the reflexive property. So anything in blue is something I could use for CPCTC. Well, they want us to prove BAD, angle BAD, is congruent to angle BCD. And the reason for that is going to be CPCTC, which let's double check. Is BAD congruent to BCDB, BACD? It is. So we're good. That's it. All right, 22 is for me. I'm trying to give you, hopefully help you some logical progression. So basically what I'm saying is, if it's given, like you're going to look at, you're given, this is basically what's going to eventually happen. So, because everybody's doing a good job with how do you start, and everybody knows how you end, but it's the in-betweens that matter. So like the reasons for other stuff. So if it is given, so in your original, if you're given and you have two triangles that share a side, like we did in the last one where we used reflexive property. So if you have two triangles that share a side where it looks like this, I bet reflexive property is going to show up sometimes. And reflexive property is always talking about a side statement. So if we see somewhere that BD bisects AC, if you see that, right? If you see this given, I bet somewhere down the road you're going to see definition of, and because AC is a segment and that's the guy being cut, I bet you're going to see segment bisector. And whenever you see segment bisector, it's almost always talking about a side statement. I can't think of a situation where it would say anything other than that. It could be a hypotenuse or a leg statement if we're talking about hypotenuse leg. But it's still a type of side statement. This is a more specific type of side statement. It's given that BD bisects angle ABC. Well, angle ABC is being cut. So if you ever see in the given bisects, I bet later, sometime throughout your proof, you're going to use definition of angle bisector. And the reason it's angle bisector and not segment bisector is because ABC is the angle, that's who's being cut. Remember, that's always going to be an angle statement. Now, if you see the word D is the midpoint, if you see the word midpoint, I bet somewhere you're going to say definition of midpoint somewhere. And once again, midpoint, definition of midpoint is almost always going to be a side statement. It could be a hypotenuse or leg if they're talking about right angles and stuff like that. Now, if you see this, I bet you're going to probably have angle congruency statements. So as soon as you see AB parallel to CD, you should think, I bet somehow angles are going to be congruent. And more than likely, there's two choices. You're either going to end up using alternate interior angles, or you might say corresponding angles. Now remember, those are angle statements. So if you ever see parallel lines as a given, more than likely you're going to try to use two parallel lines cut by a transversal to get those different angle congruencies. Now the last one is if this is like the opposite of parallel, it's like not the opposite, it's like inverse, perpendicular. So likely if you see the perpendicular symbol, you're probably either going to say the measurement of angle blah 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 is equal to the measurement of angle blah blah blah, which equals 90, or you're going to say the two angles are right angles, or however you like to write it. And that's going to be a 90-degree statement. So it's a specific type of angle statement. And remember, that's usually going to tell us about hypotenuse leg. So usually the perpendicular is going to tell us about hypotenuse leg. So 23 was just another, like everything that you see on the picture should be enough to tell you whether you get to pick side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, angle, side, hypotenuse leg. So think of 1 through 6 as a multiple choice question. You're either going to put one of these 5, or you could say there's not enough information. So like I look on number 1 and I see an angle. As soon as I see, so like let's say I had SSS, SAS, angle, side, angle, 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 side, or hypotenuse leg. I'm going to like cross them out as I go. So once I see an angle, I know it's probably not side, 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 and I don't see a 90-degree angle, so I know it's not that. All right. Now I don't see two angles, so it can't be angle, angle, side. And I don't see two sides, so it can't be side, angle, side. The only way it could be a side by looking at it would be if I had, like, if they were touching like in number 2 or number 3. The only way it could be an angle is if they were vertical angles like 5 and 6. So this is not enough information. Now look at 2. Once again, like I said, if you're struggling, the first thing you should do is write out all 5 possibilities. And then look at the picture. Okay, do you see a 90-degree angle? No, it's probably not hypotenuse leg. I see one angle congruent to another angle, so there's no way it's side, side, side. I don't see any other angle statements. I see one side congruent to a side. So I got to figure out, is there another way to just look at the picture without giving any information and figure out a side or an angle? Well, I don't see vertical angles, so there's no way it can be angles. So I got to hope I can figure out another side. Well, that's reflexive property. I don't need to be told anything about it. I can see reflexive property. So this one is side, angle, side. 3, once again, I have side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, hypotenuse, leg. Well, I don't see a 90-degree angle, gone. I don't see any angles at all, and I don't see vertical angles, so all those are gone. So I got to hope that I can be side, side, side. Well, as long as I can do that, which I can, that means I get to say side, side, side. Number 4, same thing. I start off with side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, hypotenuse, leg. So it cannot be hypotenuse, leg because there's no 90. I see angles, so there's no way it's side, side, side. I see 2 sets of angles, so there's no way it's SAS. Now I see 2 angles. I got to figure out if there's a side. If I can't figure out a side without just looking at it, then there's not enough information. But that's reflexive property. Now I have to look at the figure. So I see the blue angles are congruent and the purple angles are congruent to one another. But I also see that the blue angle and the purple angle, the side is in between those two, as in it's touching. So that's angle, side, angle. Because remember, location matters, especially when I'm trying to figure out between these two. Location matters, right? Especially those 3 right there, really. All right, 5. So once again, we got side, side, side. Side, angle, side. Angle, side, angle. Angle, angle, side. Hypotenuse, leg. I see a 90, so it could be hypotenuse, leg. I see angles too, so I know it's not side, side, side. Now here's how I know that it's not hypotenuse, leg. Even though it has a 90-degree angle, this is the hypotenuse. It doesn't say that's congruent, and there's no way for me to do that without any information, so it can't be a hypotenuse, leg. Now, I am stuck. I have a side. I don't see reflexive property anywhere, so there's no way it's going to be another side. But vertical angles tell me even those are both 90, those are congruent. So even though it's got a 90, they're still congruent, which means I'm going to have angle, side, angle. All right, last one. We have same thing, side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, hypotenuse, leg. I don't see a 90, gone. I see an angle statement, so there's probably not side, side, side. Now I look at it, I can say this guy is congruent to that guy with no information, because vertical angles are something you could just look at. So that means that there's 2 sets of angles, so side, angle, side's gone. So now I have to determine whether it's angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. Remember, location matters. So the side is only touching one of the angles. So that means it's angle, angle, side, because it goes this guy, then this guy, then this guy. Right? They're not angle, side, angle means both angles have to touch the congruent side, and that's not happening here. So this is going to be angle, side, angle. I lied to you right there. It should be angle, angle, side. I don't know why I just said that. Angle, angle, side. So because it goes angle, angle, side, both angles are not touching the congruent side. So that's it. We got our 6 answers for that. And 24 is going to be the exact same concept. All right, 24, the exact same concept as 23. I look at there, I see the 90. That 90 tells me it's probably going to be hypotenuse, leg. Remember, that's the hypotenuse, that's the leg. It is hypotenuse, leg. Number 2, I see side, side. So it's either going to be, there's no way it's going to be angle, side, angle, 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 side, or hypotenuse, leg, because they don't have a 90-degree angle. This is reflexive property, so that gives me the third side. So now I know that's side, side, side. So 3, as soon as I see reflexive property, I know that's reflexive. I don't see a 90-degree angle. I don't see 2 sets of angles. And I have 1 set of angles. So it's either SAS or it's not possible. It is because, remember, that angle, this blue piece, is touching both the congruent sides. So it is side, angle, side. So it's going to be side, angle, side. 4, vertical angles. So now I have 2 angles in one side, so that means gone, gone, gone. Like I couldn't pick side, side, side. I couldn't pick side, angle, side. I couldn't pick hypotenuse, leg. So it's got to be angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. The 2 angles are not touching the congruent side, which means it's going to be angle, angle, side. So because that purple line right there is only touching one of the congruent angles, because remember that should be 2 actually. All right. 5, it's got 2 angles in a side, so I know right away gone. 2 sides gone. I know right. So it's got to be one of those 3, or one of these 2, angle, side, angle. Now I look at the purple line. I look at this purple line right here. The congruent angles, the 2 arc and the 1 arc are touching both, so it is angle, side, angle. So last one, number 6. I have 2 sides in an angle, so that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. No 90-degree angle, so it's either SAS or not enough information. So remember, this angle right here is touching this side, not touching both. This angle right here is touching both, but it has to happen on both. So this one's actually not enough information. It's kind of a tricky one. Because remember, just because one of the triangles can be side, angle, side doesn't mean they both are. So that was kind of a tricky one. So I look at it, the side, angle, side was the only option because it had 2 sides. Now remember, the angle has to touch both. This angle right here has to be, it would have to be this one right there, and it's not. So that's it, not enough information.